Dorothy package, $18,000.
I'm Thomas Vick for WGBR News.
Are you looking for a computer? Well, there are a lot of places to buy from. It all depends if you want this or you want this. Why buy a canary when you can fly with the eagles? At Exacom Computers, Exacom matches the computer to your needs, and you get free lifetime labor. Exacom Computers, a proud supporter of Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, home of the F-15E Strike Eagles. Exacom Computers, Berkeley Boulevard beside Kmart, Goldsboro.
Get the high-quality, high-performance heating oil. Get Fill Heat from Griffin Oil Company. Fill Heat is formulated for efficient heating. That's what high performance is all about, and why Fill Heat gives you comfort with economy. And Griffin Oil Company can give you top performance and services as well, including prompt deliveries using two-way radio dispatch delivery trucks, burner service, and courteous, efficient attention to special needs. Griffin Oil Company. Call 735-4911. Griffin Oil Company.
Well, a weak cold front looks like it should push through the area from the west sometime tonight, but there's not a lot of really cold air back behind it. In our forecast for the afternoon, we'll call it mostly cloudy and mild, some patchy light rain and possibly a few showers drifting in from the west. We'll have highs this afternoon around 59 to 65. Then tonight, cloudy with scattered showers possible. Lows tonight in the upper 40s to low 50s. On Tuesday, we'll have morning clouds around. They'll give way to gradually increasing sunshine. Highs tomorrow around 57 to 63. I'm Mike Moss at the Weather Center.
Here in the infantry, you need skills and stamina. This prepares you for anything. Hey, I know. Do what I did. Join the Army National Guard and serve part-time in your own hometown. Discover how valuable you really are.
WTPR.
Monday, we must be here, ladies and gentlemen. If it's Monday, we are here. Rush Limbaugh and the Excellence in Broadcasting Network once again pursuing the truth in a relentless, unstoppable way. Remember, you need courage to face the truth. Otherwise, well, you'll get so mad listening to the program, you'll go nuts.
Yes, this is Susan McDougal. Are there any messages? Oh, shoot. I'll call you back later.
This is a special edition of the Rush Limbaugh program, America, the way it ought to be. And now, from our studios in New York City, here is Rush Limbaugh.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the EIB Network. Nice to have you along, and I want to welcome Mr. Snerdley back from vacation. He just spent a week with 8 nomads out in a desert town in the Southwest, where all they had was CNN headline news, so he feels totally uninformed. He's in the right place today to be informed, as are you. Here's the phone number today, 800-282-2882. Well, there is news about Susan McDougal. She is speaking from her jail cell in Little Rock, ladies and gentlemen. And in a telephone interview over the weekend, she said that her former spouse, Jim McDougal, was meeting with Whitewater investigators every day and was buckling under pressure to offer up some dirt on Clinton. Here's what she said. "I think Jim's telling them what they want to hear," said Susan McDougal. "He's very bitter. He's sick. He faces 84 years in prison. When you factor in his grandiosity as a manic depressive, he'll tell them whatever they want to hear to get a better deal for himself." Sounds like a loyal ex-spouse to me. So there may be a leak here, ladies and gentlemen. Susan McDougal's still waiting for that pardon phone call. It still hasn't come. As I told you last week, don't look for any pardons until after the electors gather and cast their official votes for president. That's in the middle of December, because the electors can change their mind if they want to. I mean, it's very unusual that they would, but they can, and if the pardons go left and right, I mean, Clinton just isn't going to take that risk, so no pardons until after that. The news today, folks, is, I must tell you, it's laughable, it is frustrating, and it's at the same time, it's eye-opening. I mean, you've probably seen this in your morning newspaper today. Democrats' layoffs include fundraiser John Huang. Give me a break. Laid off. John Huang, this is Huang 1. Remember, there were two Huangs. There was one Huang that was raising all sorts of money and had access to all sorts of secret administration stuff. And there was another Huang who was conducting tours, I think. I forget what the other Huang was doing, but we had two Huangs in this whole thing. I don't even want to hear two Huangs don't make a right. I mean, it should be two Huangs don't make a white. Anyway, John Huang, this is the Huang who was fundraising for the Democratic Party, has lost his job at the Democratic National Committee. I'm sure he's really out of work. For somebody to think that what bothers me about this, the guy gets fired, he's gotten laid off. The guy is only in bed with the Riyadis, the Lipo Bank, and this international finance group. To say this guy is out of a job now is to misrepresent the whole scope of what goes on at this level. DNC spokeswoman Amy Weiss-Taube said Sunday that John Huang was not being punished. Oh, no. He was just among 105 people let go after the election. He was let go as part of our downsizing. So he's been downsized. Come on, listen to the lingo. He's been downsized. How dare they? Yep, he's been downsized, ladies and gentlemen. John Huang was let go with the other 26 people from the finance decision. And Amy Weiss-Taube also said the Democratic National Committee was returning that $5,000 check received from a woman at the fundraising event, the community outreach program, at the Buddhist temple in California. She said the temple's lawyer said the woman who wrote it was a foreigner who lacked permanent resident status. That's not why they're giving the money back. They're giving the money back because it was laundered. Because some operative of the Democratic Party went out there with $5,000 in cash, gave it to her, and said, here, now write me a check for this amount. Clinton and the Democrats have been under attack from Republicans over the party's acceptance of blah, 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 blah. Also, in election news, Woody Jenkins of Louisiana has dropped his challenge of election results, which means that Mary Landrieu's 5,788 vote margin now stands. You know something about the motor voter law, and that's what's in question here. And if you read Bob Novak today, you learn that the exit, and many of you watch the election returns on election night, might remember that all the data from the exit polls showed Woody Jenkins a comfortable winner. But late in the day, according to Bob Novak, starting around 4 or 5 in the afternoon, Louisiana gambling interests, primarily located in New Orleans, actually conducted a bus caravan through black neighborhoods in the New Orleans area, rounded up a bunch of people as they drove through the projects, put them on the bus, took them to the polls, and had them vote. And it is because of this that the Jenkins campaign and others think that there might have been some voter fraud. Now, Woody Jenkins said that he dropped this because he dropped his investigation because there isn't time. But a lot of people are laughing at Woody Jenkins. Oh, yeah, not time, huh? That just means you don't have the evidence. That's all it means. And everybody running around saying that he mounted a phony challenge in the first place. The simple fact of the matter is, if you look at the motor voter law as I have, the motor voter law gives people who wish to challenge any of the authenticity of any of the new registered voters 4 days to dig up dirt. And that's what Woody said, what he meant when he said he didn't have the time. You got 4 days, and you also need the cooperation of the people involved, and Woody said he wasn't going to get that. So that's the story here. So in Bob Novak's column today indicates that the gambling interests of New Orleans successfully arranged a bus caravan to round up voters at the last minute based on the exit polling data that everybody had by then. Because I tell you, folks, at 11 o'clock, as I told you, the exit polling data works this way. They get 3 waves of it. Basically, the first one comes in at 11 in the morning, and from that, people claim to be able to make a fairly safe projection. And then there's another wave about 1 and another one at 3 o'clock. So by 3 o'clock, all the exit poll data has been sifted through, and analyzed. And at that point, they then decided, hey, we better mount a get out the vote campaign here late in the day, which it didn't start till around 5 o'clock. I've gotten a lot of mail, and a lot of people I know are desirous today probably of discussing CIA Director John Deutsch's trip to South Central Los Angeles, where he attempted to answer charges that the CIA in the 1980s ran drugs into the area for the express purpose of addicting, and destroying the black population. I'm surprised anybody is surprised at what happened out there. If you saw any videotape of this, as I did, I mean, I watched some of it. I watched Deutsch out there. If you saw any of this, and if you claim to be surprised, I simply wonder, where have you been the past 15 or 20 years? Have you forgotten the whole situation out there surrounding the Rodney King scenario? Have you forgotten the O.J. Simpson verdict and what happened in Los Angeles there? I mean, to express shock and surprise that the CIA director would be insulted, threatened, not believed by people in South Central Los Angeles is amazing to me. I've quoted, I don't know how many times I've referenced to you the number of times I've seen, well, I tell you when it was. I think it was around the time Nelson Mandela was conducting his tour of the United States prior to him becoming president of South Africa. And Nightline did one of these town hall 90-minute jobs on a Friday night, and they did it in Washington. They had an all-black audience, and some guy stood up and accused the CIA and the government of purposely bringing crack and AIDS into America for the genocidal purpose of wiping out the black population. And these people, it was a standing O. It was a huge crowd. And I've been telling you people about this for 7 or 8 years. There's a growing percentage of the black population that believes it, but without any evidence whatsoever. I mean, here is the only quote you really need to hear from this little soiree conducted by Deutsch. He's out there saying we got no evidence. We've got no evidence whatsoever that we've done anything. There is no evidence. We're conducting our own internal investigation, which is probably not a smart thing to say. But U.S. Representative Juanita Millender McDonald said, that means she's a member of the United States House of Representatives, for those of you in Rio Linda. U.S. Representative Juanita Millender McDonald said, quote, "It's not up to us to prove the CIA was involved in drug trafficking in South Central L.A. Rather, it is up to them to prove that they were not." How do you prove a negative? How in the world do you prove a negative to a group of people that don't want to hear that proof, if it exists anyway? Then the room fairly exploded, ladies and gentlemen, when one woman in the audience, about 400 people there, blamed the crack drug situation on Ronald Reagan. Yes, my friends, Ronald Reagan was responsible for it. Do you know why? Because when he fired the air traffic controllers in the early 1980s, this resulted in laxer controls of flights into the United States. Because the air traffic controllers were let go and substitute workers were there, that made it easier to smuggle drugs into the United States. And a room erupted in applause. Now, there's two things here. The hatred for Ronald Reagan that has been instilled into this group of people is real, and it isn't going away. The victimization of blacks in America has been accomplished by black leaders. It's rooted, and it's rooted deeply. And the fact that all of these charges cannot be proved because there is no evidence to suggest the CIA ran drugs from the Contras into L.A. There's no evidence. So they can't prove it. There's no evidence to suggest there is. And these people say it's not up to us to prove that you did it. It's up to you to prove you didn't do it. The guy goes out there and says, we didn't do it. And they shout and boo him down. They had folks, this is the United States of America, they had police officers surrounding the place where this little town meeting took place. And isn't that another thing? The name town meeting. And they had CIA security people ringing the inside of the building. There were those who actually thought that John Deutsch was in physical danger at this place. So anybody who's surprised, I say wake up. This has been building for quite a long time. And you can point to the civil rights leadership in this country for most of the blame. I mean, William Safire has a column in the New York Times today, which it's brilliant. It points out irrefutably why affirmative action isn't necessary anymore. You know, one of the things Safire echoes something I've been wondering about the whole time I have been behind broadcast microphones. Not only this, the golden EIB microphones, but other microphones prior to my sitting behind this golden one. And that is, all right, okay, fine. Affirmative action is set up to redress past grievances, compensatory treatment. Who's going to sit there and say, all right, it's been made even. Situation is now taken care of. Everybody's in a level playing field. Who's going to say that? Nobody's going to say that. Nobody wants affirmative action to end on the civil rights side. Safire points, I says, look at all of the blacks who have acquired power. Look at all of the blacks in this country doing very well. And he mentions names, Colin Powell among them. There's a front page story, New York Times today. Quality of life is up for many blacks, according to the data. It saw that, median household income is up, teenage birth rate is down, the homicide rate is down, the poverty rate's going down, life expectancy for black men's going way, way up, children born out of wedlock. It's the only problem that remains. Well, not the only problem that remains, but it's the only problem that doesn't show any improvement. And yet, these seeds of hatred continually are sown by the civil rights leadership in this country, and this is where we are today with it. And it shouldn't really surprise anybody. I can understand where it depress you and anger you, but I don't think it should surprise anybody. We got to go here, folks. Quick break. A lot more on the other side of this. Stay with us. Don't go away.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Folks, if you own a business, you're always looking for faster, easier, better ways to serve your customers and increase sales opportunities, right? Well, there is a software program that can help you do all that and more. Business Plus from CashGraph. It includes everything you need to run a business. Full accounting, inventory, word processing, contact management, day planning, and reports. And what really makes Business Plus so special is that it does everything in one program, so you only enter data one time. You also have immediate access to any information you need about any aspect of your business or any customer. Right now, Business Plus even includes a $50 rebate. I've seen Business Plus work, my friends. You'll be as impressed as I am.
For a limited time only, you can get a $50 rebate on Business Plus from CashGraph. Look for specially marked business packaging at Egghead and other fine retailers, and be sure to look for other CashGraph software on Gateway 2000 Generations computers, or call 1-800-617-RUSH. That's 1-800-617-7874.
For your life vitamins, here is Chuck Yeager, first man to fly faster than sound.
I've been around for about 73 years. I still fly high-performance airplanes up at Edwards. You need vitamins to keep your performance up to where it was when you were a youngster.
This is your life.
Your life has proven release, and that vitamin is dissolved in your stomach and not passed on through like a lot of the old vitamins.
Your Life vitamins.
Their vitamins work.
Available at major food, drug, discount, and club stores everywhere.
Price sells cars, and Leith of Goldsboro has the models, option packages, and colors you're looking for. So whether it's Cherokee, Dodge Ram Truck, Neon, Sebring, LHS, or a Isuzu Rodeo, Leith has plenty, and all the styles and options you want. Save thousands at Leith of Goldsboro. Now's a great opportunity to find out how much you'll love your new Dodge, Plymouth, Chrysler, Jeep, Eagle, or Isuzu. Come see Leith of Goldsboro, where price sells cars. Highway 70 West, Goldsboro.
Learn the facts on getting aid for college from Academics Plus. Financial aid for college tuition with over $40 billion available for college aid. And families from all incomes can qualify. If you have a child headed for college, write this number down, 735-9846. A FACT counselor can help you obtain college aid and help you file the correct forms. That number again is 735-9846. Learn the facts by calling Dr. Marilyn C. Benton at Academics Plus, 1411 East Ash Street, Goldsboro. FACT, a division of Academics Plus Incorporated.
Police Department, Sergeant John speaking.
Oh, please come quick. They're holding me hostage.
Now, calm down, ma'am. Can you try to describe them?
They're brown, ugly, and have antennas.
Ma'am?
They're roaches.
Roaches, is that your last name?
That's their only name. They're bugs, for goodness sake.
Well, you don't need the police. You need Griffin Exterminating. They can wipe out any pest problem you've got.
Even a leech?
You've got leeches, too.
Just one.
Ma'am?
My brother-in-law.
For all your pest problems, call Griffin Exterminating. Whether it's termites, fleas, or roaches, Griffin Exterminating is sure to come to the rescue. Call 735-3928.
Hi, this is Jim Bohannon. Hope you'll join me for the next Coast to Coast Jim Bohannon Show, a program with fascinating guests and, of course, your phone calls. So join me, Jim Bohannon, and hear what everybody's talking about on 1150 AM WGBR.
Monday through Friday evenings, starting at 10, the Jim Bohannon Show brings you 3 hours of quality radio so you can hear what everybody's talking about on 1150 WGBR.
From high atop the EIB building in Midtown Manhattan, Rush Limbaugh, the Excellence in Broadcasting Network, 800-282-2882. Have you noticed that we're rethinking going into Zaire? Now, the reason we're rethinking it is that so many refugees from Zaire are heading back to Rwanda, ostensibly. I don't know that that's why we're rethinking it. We may be rethinking it because of the overwhelming outrage that greeted the suggestion. Now, this is 2 flip-flops from President Clinton since his reelection. The first was on the balanced budget amendment. He clearly sent the signal he was all for it. Then Robert Rubin, the Treasury Secretary, moved in and said, whoa, pulled him back in. And now we're going to Zaire, and now somebody said, oh, we may not have to go to Zaire now. The refugees are escaping. We may not have to go there. So this, I think, indicates, this is the illustration of the lack of somebody like Dick Morris. Left to his own devices, Clinton will be all over the map many, many times a day rather than have a cogent focus. Now, I want to comment something that happened at Capitol Gang Saturday night. Kate O'Byrne made a point that I have been making on this program for a long time about liberals in general, Clinton in particular. And it's worth, I think, making again. Whereas the liberals gave us the 40 years of the welfare state, liberals gave us the decaying inner cities. Liberals gave us South Central Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen, not the CIA. White liberals gave us South Central LA. White liberals gave us Cabrini Green in Chicago. White liberals gave us Pruitt-Igoe in St. Louis. White liberals have given us all of these decaying inner cities. And 40 years of evidence is plainly visible and viewable. And yet, when confronted with the, let's just say it's an allegation. Forget the fact it's a fact. Let's just say we charge liberals with this. They say, well, wait a minute. But we wanted to help. We were only trying to do good. And what we need to do is try even harder. We need even more money. We've obviously proven here that we haven't spent enough. Meantime, my friends, we've already had a transfer of over $5 trillion over the last 35 years in this country. $5 trillion worth of transfers of wealth and redistribution of wealth, and it hasn't fixed the problem. And the liberals still say, after all this, oh, well, at least our heart was in the right place. They ask to be judged on their intentions. We are to ignore the results of their programs. It is their intentions that count, because their intentions show how big their hearts are, how much compassion they have. And that's what this Zaire thing is all about. We were thinking of going to Zaire, not because what can the U.S. military do about that situation? The U.S. military is supposed to go in, fight, and win war. We're not peacekeepers and meal distributors. So why is it being used for this purpose? It's being used so Bill Clinton can show off his big heart. It's being used so liberals, they get hold of the military. Well, our intentions are on. What about the fact that it's a total misuse of the military? Well, we've got to redefine the use of the military because this is a humanitarian thing. Why are you doing this? CNN had the pictures. You finally saw enough pictures and you were moved. Oh, we've got to do something. The liberal response to everything. Oh, we've got to do something. We have to do something. And they don't think about what they do because they don't care about the results of it. It's the intentions that count. And that's the point that Cato Byrne made, and that's really the modus operandi, or the motivation, I should say, for even announcing we're going to... Clinton thinks he's accomplished what he wants to accomplish, whether we send one troop to Zaire or not. The fact he can say, I cared. I wanted to help. Mark my words, for what good it'll do anybody. It is the truth. Now, the World Food Summit ended in a strange way over the weekend. The Pope and Castro got together, and other things happened, which I'll have to tell you about after the break coming up. And also, the press is now warning us about what we may face in order to fix Medicare. And this you won't believe either.
There's 1 hour each week you deserve to set aside. Relax in your favorite chair with your favorite music and enjoy the Washington Times National Weekly Edition, America's fastest growing weekly newspaper. This is your hour to escape from the irritating, liberally slanted media you're used to. Call now and get 2 free bonus publications, the best of Prudent on Politics, plus Feminism, Politics, and the First Lady, books that Bill and Hillary hope you don't read. Call 1-800-420-NEWS for the Washington Times National Weekly Edition for as little as 87 cents a week. That's 1-800-420-6397.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
For WGBR News, I'm Thomas Vick.
Wayne County mental health officials have reported additional local programs due to be added to the Carolina Alternatives Medicaid waiver program next July may have to wait. Mental Health Director Bill Condren noted the delay may take place due to pending approval by the federal government's Health Care Finance Administration and State Budget Office of other programs across the state due to be added in January. Carolina Alternatives is designed to put a halt on upward spiraling Medicaid costs. Programs enrolled are allotted a fixed amount of money to be used to pay for services rendered under those programs. Any additional money needed to pay for services above the allotted amount must come from the local mental health budget. Condren said, in short, it's the managed care concept, the wave of the future. Wayne County currently has 41 mental health programs services are rendered under. 10 of those are currently under the Carolina Alternatives Medicaid waiver program. It will cost citizens of the town of Pikeville more to get water during the next year. Town officials say a $2 a month water rate increase has been approved by the Pikeville Town Board. Town Manager Robert Davies says the money will be used to help pay for over $600,000 in town improvement contracts expected to be awarded in the upcoming fiscal year. The Wayne County Social Service Work First program continues to have a tremendous impact in the workforce by helping keep more aid to families with dependent children recipients from drawing their monthly welfare benefits check and getting a job. Work First program officials indicate this year around 700 mothers have quit receiving their checks from the AFDC program and gone to work under the Work First program. A Wayne County woman was a big winner this weekend in a regional country radio station contest. 61-year-old Dorothy Addison, who lives on Boswell Road in northwestern Wayne County, won a 14 by 60-foot Fleetwood home. To go along with the new home, Addison won several other prizes. The estimated value of the prize package, $18,000.
I'm Thomas Vick for WGBR News.
Well, a weak cold front looks like it should push through the area from the west sometime tonight, but there's not a lot of really cold air back behind it. And our forecast for the afternoon, we'll call it mostly cloudy and mild, some patchy light rain and possibly a few showers drifting in from the west. We'll have highs this afternoon around 59 to 65. Then tonight, cloudy with scattered showers possible. Lows tonight in the upper 40s to low 50s. On Tuesday, we'll have morning clouds around. They'll give way to gradually increasing sunshine. Highs tomorrow around 57 to 63. I'm Mike Moss at the Weather Center.
Wayne County's news and Limbaugh leader. 1150 WGBR, Goldsboro's very own.
Going to get to the phones here in just a second, folks, because I got some people who want to talk about the CIA meeting out in South Central, and I'll stay with that before going on to other topics here so that these people will remain current with our discussion. But I got a couple of interesting facts I want to impart to you. You know, the weather in this country over the past week has been incredible. And there hasn't been one part of the country that's really been spared anything unusual, except maybe the Southwest. They got these torrential flooding rains in Hawaii. They've had more rain in Honolulu in a weekend than they get. They've had as much rain in a weekend or as a month here as they get in a year in Honolulu, like 20 inches. And that happened to be where Der Schlichtmeister was out trying to get in a round of golf. He played anyway, made everybody go out with him, because he wasn't going to be, screwed out of this one and flying all that way to get out there. In the Northeast, it was unseasonably cold with record temperatures, record lows set all over the place. In the Midwest and upper Midwest, they had blizzard conditions, and it's not even Thanksgiving yet. And down in Florida, there were these sustained winds of up to 50 miles an hour for 5 or 6 days. The winds in Florida were so strong that they whipped across the Florida Peninsula. They had to issue coastal flood warnings for New Orleans. I mean, that's how strong these winds were. So you cannot read the newspaper these days without missing coverage of all this. And listen to these two facts about where Americans live and how it relates to the overall economy of the country. 110 million people in this country, nearly half of our population, live in a five-mile wide coastal strip that accounts for 10% of the nation's mass. So half the population lives from 5 miles to the beach or to the coast. I assume this means all coasts, left, right, Gulf, so forth. They live in a 5-mile wide stretch of land from the beach to 5 miles, and this accounts for 10% of the nation's mass. So half of this country lives on 10% of the country's land, near beaches. And I got to thinking about it. I said, New York? Well, yeah, it's near a beach. Long Island? All things a beach, practically. And you've got beaches all the way up Massachusetts to Maine. And of course, I never stopped to think of this way before. And then, of course, along the Gulf Coast and out on the left coast. And I guess you got to count Alaska and Hawaii in this as well. Stunning facts, especially when you consider that people say we got an overpopulation problem. Half the country lives on 10% of the land. And here's another stunning fact. There are 413 coastal communities in America. And these 413 coastal communities are responsible for 1/3 of our gross domestic product and 28 million jobs, which is 1/3 of the national workforce. And the vast majority of these are related to recreation and tourism. Stunning. I would have never known. This would have never even crossed my mind. 1/3 of the nation's GDP is generated by coastal communities. At any rate, Lonnie in Greensboro, North Carolina, I'm glad you waited. You're on the Rush Limbaugh program. Hello.
Thank you, Mr. Limbaugh, for taking my call.
My pleasure, sir.
I'd like to comment regarding the CIA drug connection.
Yeah.
And I think that on the face of it, it's very doubtful. But the real point here is that whoever was going to import and distribute the drugs for the Colombian cartels was going to have to deal with the distribution network that the Crips and the Bloods had set up, and the light gangs in New York and Chicago. There is the problem. And it's so discouraging to see an auditorium filled with citizens.
You are missing a salient point here.
Uh-huh.
Now, you're not. You've stumbled or swerved into it, and I don't know if you're really aware of how profound what you've just said is. But let's bring it down to the most basic of terms. Let's say anybody is going to import drugs.
Right.
Anybody's going to import drugs and insulate themselves from the whole process so they never get caught. That means they've got to find the distribution network, and they've got to get what they import to the distribution network. Now, let's just, for the sake of this is an unrelated point, but just for the sake of credibility here, let's establish the CIA would not deal with the Crips and Bloods, even if they were doing this. There would be so many middle and tertiary people here that the Bloods and Crips would never see a CIA agent.
No, that's for sure.
So there'd be, but anyway, you're right, though, that it has to get to the distribution network. Distribution network then gets it to the sales force. The sales force then goes fanning out and finds customers. And if the people in South Central are to be believed, everybody but the supplier here has to be a victim of something.
Right.
The sales force has to be a victim. The distribution network has to be victimized. Everybody but the importer here has to be a victim. Now, how can this be? Well, my point to you is that is one of the sorry realities that has resulted in minority politics in this country. The civil rights community has been so successful in building the notion that all minorities in this country are victims, that you have to have that foundation laid before any of the rest of this stuff is believable. In other words, you have innocent minority citizens going about their business in South Central Los Angeles or anywhere else. Out of nowhere comes a line of cocaine, and it is in front of them, and they cannot stop snorting it up their nose, or they can't stop smoking it. They just can't stop it. And whoever put it there is the next victim in the chain, and then whoever gave it to them is the next victim in the chain, until you get to the supplier, which in this case is supposed the CIA, who have succeeded in bamboozling all these other people.
Well, that's what's so maddening about it. It's, you almost want to just shake these people and say, well, who cares who brought it in? Let's say they did bring it in. You know, first of all, there's no solution in saying that. The solution is in working to stop it, and then just on the face of it, it is so absurd.
Well, the solution, I hate to be so quaint here, because I know you people are just going to come both barrels aimed at me on here, but the solution here is just to don't do it. I forget who said this recently. Just don't do it. Line of coke is in front of you, little smack, little crack, whatever it is, don't do it. But apparently they can't help themselves. They're total victims. Folks, this is a terribly serious problem. No amount of logic is going to work here. You've got to understand it. This is Nate in Cincinnati. Nate, you're next on the Rush Limbaugh program. Hello.
Mr. Limbaugh, hello, and thank you for accepting my call.
You bet.
First of all, sir, I've listened to you for years. I disagree with you most of the time, and again, I agree with you today. The fact is, Mr. Limbaugh...
Wait, you disagree today?
Yeah, I disagree with you again today. You
had to bail you out of that one, because you said you agreed with me.
Oh,
I knew that's not what you meant.
Yes. You say that this is about victimization, and to me, it's not, sir. The charge has never been that the CIA started a crack epidemic. It is that they participated in it. They helped to fund the drugs and to also to supply some of the drugs. Listen, Mr. Limbaugh, I've listened to conservatives argue about personal responsibility, and that's what this is about. But while the small-time drug dealer goes to jail, no one wants to talk about bringing charges against people who may have been in the Reagan administration, people like Mr. Oliver North, and no one wants to talk about bringing charges against them. So
now, wait a minute, Nate. Nate, Oliver North, think of him what you will, but Oliver North has faced an investigation of the United States government, a joint House-Senate committee, which was aiming at him, pal. They were out to destroy his life. They wanted to get to Ronald Reagan through him. Don't tell me that Oliver North hasn't been investigated here, and don't tell me that people don't want the truth. The liberals of this country would have given anything
to be able to get rid of Oliver North off the face of the earth.
Well,
Ronald Reagan as well. Now, will you, Nate, give me one shred of evidence that you've seen that makes you believe the CIA has done what they're accused of doing?
Well, Mr. Limbaugh, I'd be happy to. First of all, I read the article, and in the article on the internet, there are a number of sites that go to court documents.
Is this the original San Jose Mercury News?
This is the original San Jose Mercury News.
Well, how come nobody else in the big media is crediting this story? Everybody is saying this story has got gaping holes throughout it. I mean, the people that you would think would love, I mean, there's a bunch of anti-government, anti-CIA people in the big media, and if this story had even a grain of truth to it, they'd be all over it. They're looking at it and they say it doesn't have anything.
Well, Mr. Limbaugh, first of all, I've read some of the mainstream media, and I think that they have almost unanimously all agreed that we do need a thorough investigation of the matter. Everyone from Time Magazine to the Chicago Tribune has said that they think that there may be some merit to it, and the only way we're going to find out is if we have a thorough investigation. My point talking to you today is that when you talk about people making excuses, you seem to be making an awful lot of excuses for the CIA. You automatically say that they are innocent. But when I hear the other side, the conservatives, accuse the President Clinton of dealing drugs through Mena, Arkansas, or at least if he didn't deal them, he looked the other way. In books like Boy Clinton. That's what you all accuse him of, and I never hear you say this is without a shred of proof. We ought to quit talking about this because they are conservatives making the allegations. You call for the investigation, and if there's nothing to hide, as you said about Whitewater and others, if there's nothing to hide, why are we so scared of having an investigation?
I'm not. I think we have been having an investigation, and you feel free to have one. But I'll tell you something. At what point, Nate, do we in this country cease conducting investigations just on the basis of an allegation? What if somebody wants to assert that the sky is green? Do we investigate it to see if people actually have a defect in their eyes or something?
Well,
I mean, look, this has come out of the blue, and it's.
Well, Mr. Limbaugh, I mean, again, you've read the article on the internet. You know that this is not just some allegation. There are a number of documented facts associated with this story.
There aren't. That's the whole point. There aren't. There isn't anything here that.
There are collaborations, there are names, there are dates, there are people who, as I read it, were at one time employed by the DEA, who should have been on the inside, who should have known what was going on. They've definitely got more credibility than, what's her name, Paula Jones, and yet you all take her story as the truth because of a few friends, but you don't want to take people who used to work inside the DEA.
This has nothing. Wait a second. You keep entering Bill Clinton in this, and I haven't brought up Bill Clinton in this whole discussion.
Well,
I'm simply telling you that
he needs to be brought up in this discussion.
It doesn't, because this is not about getting well, maybe it is about getting even. Maybe that's what's really behind this. Maybe this is about the liberals just getting even for all this other stuff. But I'm going to tell you something. You liberals started all this stuff back during the Watergate days. You started it all, and if anything's going on, which I doubt, that's what's being gotten even with. But I'm going to tell you something. Leave Clinton out of this. Clinton has nothing to do with this. You don't hear Mena discussed on this program. You lump it with others if you want, but you don't hear it discussed on this program very much, and for a couple of reasons, which ought to be obvious. The fact of the matter is that there is no evidence, even in the San Jose Mercury News piece, that the CIA actually did this. There isn't any evidence. The eagerness to believe this, however, I guess conspiracy theorists just exist in every nook and cranny of America, I suppose. At any rate, Nate, thanks for the call. I'm a little bit long in the segment here. I have to run. We'll be right back, my friends. Don't go away.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Hey, folks, listen up. Now, when you order a subscription to my newsletter, the Limbaugh Letter, you will also get a great new video we've put together called Behind the Golden EIB Microphone. What it is a backstage look at the inner workings of the Excellence in Broadcasting Network with me, of course, as your highly trained broadcast host. See how the radio show gets put together every day. Watch Mr. Snurdly screen calls. See the rest of the staff in action. And hear my classic monologue on good versus evil. Now, you can't get this videotape in any store, but you can get it with a new subscription to the Limbaugh Letter. Call 800-457-4141. You get 1 year, 12 thrill-packed issues of the Limbaugh Letter and my new video, Behind the Golden EIB Microphone, all for just $29.95 plus $4.95 shipping and handling. Again, call 800-457-4141. Buy it for yourself. Buy 5 for yourself, or give it or them as gifts. Either way, my friends, just get it.
Good day, Mr. Phelps. This is a photograph of James Finch Chevrolet. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to take your team to James Finch Chevrolet and check out all the new Chevrolet cars and trucks, used cars and program cars and vans. Test drive the new Lumina, Monte Carlo, Corvette, Astro vans, S10 pickups, the Blazers. In fact, check out their entire lineup of new cars. And another thing, Jim, if my sources are correct, and they usually are, I understand James Finch Chevrolet can arrange easy financing and leasing plans. I'm told that James Finch Chevrolet makes it easy to drive a new car or truck. Jim, have your team check out everything, then report back to me. James Finch Chevrolet, 400 West Main Street in Bailey. LBJ Chevrolet Buick in Nashville. And Finch and Wood Chevrolet in Roanoke Rapids. Remember, Jim, this tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds. James Finch Chevrolet, where a better deal is always possible.
Quality furniture at advertised prices saves you money at Jernigan Furniture. Don't miss this special event. Drastic reductions have been made on every item in the store. Jernigan's selection of sofas and sleep sofas are unequaled. Sofas starting at $5.99. Custom order your own design for only a few dollars more. Jernigan Furniture has over 400 sofas and sleepers in stock. And no doubt about it, no one has the selection of desks like Jernigan's. Prices start at $3.99. Jernigan Furniture, 2101 East Ash Street, Goldsboro.
The exhibition season is finally over for the University of North Carolina Tar Heel Chargers of Dean Smith. And the NCAA Division I competition starts this Thursday evening at 7 p.m. in Springfield, Massachusetts. It's the Hall of Fame Classic pitting North Carolina against Arizona. Join 1150 WGBR for the entire Tar Heel basketball season. Being brought to you in part by Barnes, Braswell, and Haithcock Attorneys at Law, by American Express Financial Services, by Wooten Oil Quick Mart Stores, and by Hasty Air Conditioning. Join us this Thursday evening at 7 on 1150 WGBR.
From around the world and the nation and in the neighborhood, your news and talk leader, 1150 WGBR.
We're back. Rush Limbaugh, EIB Network, at 1-800-282-2882. Have you noticed how many of the Clinton administration resignations are being chalked up to, I want to spend more time with my family? Labor Secretary Robert B. Rice, this is the most amazing thing. Robert B. Rice, I just want to spend more time with my family. And a lot of others, Laura DeAndrea Tyson, saying the same thing. Were these people, have they forgotten about the Family and Medical Leave Act? This is not supposed to happen. The Family Medical Leave Act is supposed to provide time. Busy parents can better manage their time.